Welcome back, and I'm so glad that you're back for Module 2 of training. In this module, we are going to be focused on primarily one thing, and that is how credit is established, what FICO scores are, where they come from, and then 3, what leads people to having bad credit. What problems do people encounter that causes a hiccup, a speed bump in the road from a financial nature? If we look at it initially, breaking down credit and what makes up a person's credit score. Basically, the credit bureaus have said that there are 5 primary issues that are taken into consideration. The first, and I'm giving these to you in the largest percentage first down to the lowest. The largest percentage is a person's payment history. A person's payment history is a reflection of the past, looking into the rearview mirror and seeing how they have handled their payments that have been made in the past, if they have payments that are due on a given loan. 35% is what the credit bureaus will tell you. 35% of the creation of a FICO score goes into payment history, or is comprised of the payment history. The next largest section is 30%, and that is looking at the amounts that are owed by the creditor to all of their creditors overall, and taking specific looks at how much they owe each individual creditor themselves. Why they take a look at it from 2 different perspectives is simple. Number 1, they want to look at it from an overall perspective, because if someone has 5 credit cards, each of them having a $5,000 credit line to them, that's $25,000. They have a $200,000 mortgage, that's $225,000. And they have a $30,000 automobile loan, that's $260,000 in credit that is owed, or in balances that are outstanding, or credit amounts that are available to the client or to the consumer. That shows a level of credit worthiness. Okay? Now they look at it on an individual basis, because those $5,000 credit cards that I alluded to earlier, those 5 accounts, $5,000 credit lines each, if each one of those is charged up to its limit, they can make every single payment on time. But yet those accounts will be held against them because they're up to their maximum. In other words, they go a paycheck or a pay period without a paycheck. We are just hopefully on the tail end of this over a year plus pandemic that we are on. People's credit scores have fallen. And it's because they've hit a speed bump, they haven't been able to make a payment, or they've lived off of credit cards and they're all up to their limits. That is not good credit management as far as the credit bureaus are concerned. So 30% of an individual's credit score comes from the amounts that are owed and how that credit is managed. 15% of an individual's FICO score comes from the length of credit history. You can have a 24-year-old that just graduated law school, and he has excellent credit. He or she have excellent credit. They're getting started. They've just been hired by a major law firm, and their prospects are fantastic. They're great. And so with their low six-figure starting income, they want to go and qualify for a mortgage. And they find out their scores are 620, 640. And they point to the fact that they've had a MasterCard, they've got a Visa card, they've even had a car loan and so forth. But at 24 years old, all of those accounts are only a couple of years old. The longer an individual has an account, the better that account serves them with respect to building their credit scores. Parents, grandparents, older siblings, you want a way to truly help younger people? You individuals that are watching these videos, you want a way to be able to help your clients that I will guarantee you no one else is telling them how to go about doing? Put your children, once they hit 16, 17, 18 years old, don't just get them a credit card that you sign for. No, put them as an authorized user on one of your accounts or two of your accounts that has always been current, that you keep below the credit lines, and they're going to get credit for that account, even though that account could be 15 years old, and they're going to get credit for all 15 years of that account, even though they might only be 20 years old when you put them on as an authorized user. Their credit scores are going to jump. And you that are watching this video today, keep that in the forefront of your mind. Remember the quiz at the end of this show? I guarantee you there will be a question about this, because it is such a valuable piece of information that you can give to your client that separates you a little bit from your competitors out there and other financial planners out there that are telling people how to get back on track or giving them advice as to how to get back on track from a credit perspective. Moving along, new credit accounts for 10% of that FICO score. Every time you get a new credit card, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Don't allow your clients to fall for the trick or the temptation of every time they walk into a new department store and the sales clerk gives them the pitch of, well, you know, you can receive 15% off your entire purchase for the day if you apply for the ABC credit card. Each one of those is a hard inquiry. And while that's new credit and it's going to account for, you go to a store, have 3 inquiries in a day from Nordstrom's, Macy's, and Bloomingdale's, you're going to end up with a lower credit score at the end of that day, because those are hard inquiries that are going to judge against your credit. And then the types of credit used. All credit is not created equal. Mortgages are a great source of an account to have both longevity with and a great payment history with. Mortgages are one type of credit. Installment loans, which include automobile loans, is the second great type of credit to have and to have in your makeup of a credit score. The third and final is revolving accounts. Those are your MasterCards, your Visas, your American Express, Discovers, and any other store that is out there. And not all credit cards are the same. Believe me, the starter credit cards that come from banks like Capital One, First Premier, those accounts that have a $300 or $500 limit are certainly not scored the same way that an American Express Gold Card or an American Express Black Card is scored. Or even any MasterCard or Visa that has a credit line of $2,500 or more. Those are considered major accounts, and there is more weight given to those accounts. So as you come across individuals that have 7, 8, 9, or more revolving accounts, and 3 or 4 of those accounts are those of the variety of a $300 to $500 or secured line of credit, and they have 3 or 4 accounts that are $2,500, $3,000, $5,000, it's not a bad idea to have the consumer advise the consumer to close those other accounts, or ask that consumer to go back to those creditors and have them raise the credit line so they transition from being scored as that starter type of an account to a major account. That's what makes up your credit score, along with, if we go back, and if I can, for just a minute, to the previous module, the demographic and geographic information. I believe you can take 5 points off of this pie, so to speak, that you see on your screen. 5 points off of the types of credit used in new credit, and I think, or 2.5 points off of each of those sections, and 5% of your total credit makeup or scoring makeup is going to come also from your demographic and geographic and personal information contained on your credit report. No false names, no outdated addresses, no misspellings. Those things will all end up helping your credit scores as well. That advice giving to the client gives you credibility and does your client a great service that I can almost guarantee you no one else is providing for them.